Happy Sunday. It's another SMFF exclusive. We got your podcast host, Ty June, and she's going to tell you everything and all kinds of things and probably absolutely nothing at all. But tune in.
Hey guys, welcome back to Saving for Myself podcast with your host Ty June. And today's episode is Save Me from My Interviews. First things first, I would like to introduce you the international multi-award winning director, executive producer, actor, casting director with over 100 awards and nominations across the independent scene, such as Best Picture, Best Horror Picture, Audience Choice Award, and Best Ensemble. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my guest, Shreco Bakari.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Thank you. Thank you for being here with me today. So how things have been? How things are going?
Things are great. Actually, beyond great. Busy as always. Every day it's something between being a school teacher and managing the production company and working on other films and stuff. It's a lot every single day. So how people say, "Oh yeah, today is my day to rest." I don't have any days to rest, so my rest days are still my work days. So
I love it. I love it. You got to keep the hustle going, right?
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
So, what my audience really want to know is like, who is Shreco Bakari?
Shreco Bakari is a. Can we use profanity? I just wanna make sure. Can we use profanity? Because if
If you
so,
do, I will bleep. Go for it.
how about this? Shreco Bakari is a unique, amazing, rare bad mofo.
Okay.
That's who he is. He is a person that has been through a lot of darkness, but has found the light in spite of being in that darkness. He's a person that has hit rock bottom and clawed his way to the top and demands his respect. I have, yeah, that's who I am. That's exactly who I am. I'm an award-winning filmmaker. I'm an amazing friend. I'm an even better colleague. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very honest. I'm very trustworthy. I'm very loving. I'm very kind. And yeah, I'm a go-getter. I stay I constantly stay going after my dreams and my goals and everything else in between, and making sure I keep my peace of mind as well and my sanity at bay, and just making sure that I am always my authentic self. That is who Shreco Bakari is. He doesn't take any crap from anybody. I always make sure that if I give you respect, that's what I expect in return. That is my only expectation from a human being, and anybody I work with. But Shreco is definitely a person who knows how to overcome adversity. He knows how to make sure he's constantly on the right path, doing the right thing, constantly coming up with ideas and being creative, and a person who is not stagnant. One thing Shreco is not is stagnant. That mofo, yes, I am talking in third person. That's third person, correct? Absolutely. So yes, that's exactly who he is.
I love that. I love that for you. And like at the top of the start of this, you were stating that you're always juggling between school and teaching and the production company. So give me a little bit of the origin, like when did the production company start, and like start from there. It's like, where did that come apart?
Yeah, sure. So I started this production company, Foreman Empire Productions, in January 20th of 2015. So about 8 years ago. And we just celebrated 8 years, January 20th of this year. And I was in Columbus, Georgia. I was not at the best time in my life with things. I was struggling financially, just basic human necessity wise, living from place to place. A lot was going on around that time. Not because I caused it on myself, but because life happens. And when life happens, we have to ride that wave until we have an opportunity to make a new life, if that makes sense. But yeah, in the midst of all of that, I started my production company, and I worked on a project that I think about it now and I'm like, ew, did I really do that? But everybody still talks about it. My
Mhm.
very first film project was called Trepidation. And it was about two college students doing a science project at their local city park, and they get lost after dark, and they are stalked by a mass serial killer, which was a clown. And yeah, it was crazy. A lot of people loved it. I look back at it now and I'm like, ew, it's so cringy. It's like, ew, what is this? But you got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just from there, I started to experiment with a lot of things and wanted to make sure that I was doing this because this is what I wanted for the rest of my life, as opposed to doing this because I just want to be famous and I just want to do this and do that. And being that young around that time period, that's all I was really thinking about: fame, getting this, getting that. And, you know, now being 31, it's like I could give a crap about all that. You know, fame and money and things, that's going to come with, you know, what I do. I cannot escape that. I had to realize that it's going to come regardless. But my main thing is making sure that I grow and elevate and learn from my mistakes and learn from different adversities and things of that nature. And from 2015 up until this very moment, I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot as a person and as a creative. It is night and day from the stuff that I created in 15, 16, 17, leading up to my professional debut in 2018 with the Ominous Project. And that was my very first professional short film that I created. And it won a lot of awards internationally and got into my very first film festival, the Sunshine City Film Festival in St. Petersburg, Florida, January of 2019. And that started, the rest is history from there. So yeah.
And I love that about you, because you always love to talk about your growth and how far you've come. And so where are you going from here? Like, you know, I follow you on social media and things. So I started noticing you growing. And so let's go into talk about SuperCell Entertainment. So I know that must be your next milestone.
Yes, SuperCell Entertainment is, how do I say this? It is not a rebirth. It's not a rebrand, but I guess it is the start of the rest of my life, if that makes sense. With Foreman Empire Productions, when I started that in 2015, you know, that was growing. Those are growing stones, growing pains, and trying to figure stuff out, trying to see what works, what doesn't, and what didn't work, trying to figure out who I needed to work with and who I didn't need to work with anymore. And, you know, meeting a lot of good people along the way and meeting a lot of not so good people along the way, and making some good movies and making some not so good movies. But that is what Foreman Empire is to me. And I hold that close to my heart, because without me building that production company and without Foreman, there would be no SuperCell in the making. And SuperCell Entertainment is pretty much a new face to my creative side, a new face to all of my films, a new face to everything, the people I'm working with, the different projects I'm doing, things of that nature, like everything, you know. And I'm super, super proud of myself that I get to have the opportunity to say, I've learned this much for 8 years. And coming January 20th, on my 9th year, which is my favorite number, 9 is my all-time favorite number, because I'm born on the 9th. And it's such a coincidence that on the 9th year, everything is changing, everything is merging together, everything is becoming better, everything is I'm being looked at now not as an amateur filmmaker, but as a professional filmmaker now, because of the years that I had to grow. And SuperCell Entertainment is the start of the huge, big things that God has blessed me with, that He's going to bless me with, and my team with. And my head producer of my company, Ashley Chanel, out of Raleigh, North Carolina, she and I came up with the name for the company, and we came up with a lot of things that we want to do. And it represents not only myself, but it represents her as well. It represents people of color, women of color, LGBTQI plus. It's a platform that showcases and does things differently, and it also showcases things and people that are underrepresented, you know. And I'm really proud of myself that with this film, Maniacal Night is pretty much an opening to that new production company. And it will be merging together really soon. Right now, SuperCell Entertainment is just myself and, you know, my head producer, Ashley Chanel. And pretty soon we will bid farewell to Foreman Empire Productions and, you know, go into more greatness with a new title, a new feel, a new everything, a new mission, you know, everything in between, new people, and even bringing back some old people from the past. You know, we have a big plan for what we're doing. And so far, We're taking one step at a time and making sure that all of our ducks are in a row and making sure things make sense and making sure that everything that we have built from 15 up until now is opening that door in a great way, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, yeah, SuperCell Entertainment is going to be the new name of the production company. And I can't wait for people to see what we are truly working on and what we do next with that company name and the big things that are going to be in the works for that. I'm really, really excited.
I'm excited for you too. This just sounds impeccable, and I can't wait to see what comes next.
Absolutely.
And so, Shreco, a little birdie told me, or I guess my research and stalker self,
Oh, Lord.
what is your favorite thing about the found footage subgenre? What intrigues you the most about that?
And that's a good question, because I've always asked myself the same thing. Why do I love this subgenre so much? Why does it intrigue me so much? Why can't I not have a film or movie day without watching a found footage film? And the reason being is because it transports the viewers differently than any other style of film will ever do. Found footage is like, of course, it's point of view. It's a single handheld camera or multiple cameras, things of that nature, and it's a recording of a person's life in real time. And in order for that to feel real, in order for that to feel authentic, and in order for the immersion to stick, it's a lot of things that go into play with that. It's very, very hard. It's probably one of the hardest genres to even act in, to direct in, everything, because it has to be real. But I think that's one thing that intrigues me about it is the immersion. If you can immerse the audience into the shoes of a specific character in that point of view, and make them feel what that character is going through, and make them see what that character is seeing. Sometimes not even seeing what that character is seeing. Sometimes you see what they don't see. And you're like, oh my God, like, girl, look, the thing is right there. There's just nothing you can do about it. You have to just go through that tension and that terror and that suspense with that specific person. But point of view has always intrigued me. And it's so creative and it's so well done if it's done the correct way. And especially within the horror genre. Found footage within the horror genre is very special to me. It's always been something that I was always intrigued with since I was a kid, especially when I first saw the Blair Witch Project as a kid. My mom showed me that film and I was like, what is this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm watching footage. Did this happen? Like, oh my God. And I'm like, if I can make viewers believe something is real by just being really creative as a filmmaker, then I've done my job. If I can make them forget that they are watching a movie and they are literally feeling like they're watching footage that has been left behind or something that someone has gone through, and make them feel that tension and that terror and that suspense and even sometimes emotions, like high emotions, being sad or crying, then I've done it right. And I've always told myself that my main focus and my job as a filmmaker, as a found footage filmmaker, is to perfect the craft. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people use found footage as how do I say this? As a budget-friendly thing.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off, because it's just like, you cannot grab a camera, grab people, and just think that you can just put on this show with a few jump scares here, there, and everywhere else in between and make it cinema. It's more to it than that. You can't just put on a mask or put some special effects in there and say, oh, this is found footage. There are rules. And I didn't realize that found footage had so many rules until I became more of a seasoned filmmaker, if that makes sense. And I'd probably say recently, probably a year and a half ago, when I discovered a lot more things that pertain to the found footage subgenre that you must follow in order for it to be as authentic as possible. And when I studied that and I took some classes on found footage films and things of that nature, it baffled me, because I'm like, oh my God, this is what I was missing. That is why certain films didn't get into certain festivals, or that is why I didn't feel as confident with this film as I did beforehand, because I wasn't following the specific formula. Yeah, I can be my own creative person and put a Shreco touch on everything. However, I still have to have that foundation, that solid guideline, that formula that cannot be changed, if that makes sense. And I realized I was doing too much experimenting instead of trying to perfect the formula. But once I figured out what the formula was, now I'm like, okay, here I am, my second feature film. Now I've learned what I've learned within a year. Now I'm about to turn a lot of freaking heads. I'm about to even turn my own head. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so excited for people to see this second installment or reboot, if you want to call it that, with Maniacal Night, because I've learned so much and there's so much I want to do differently, and we're getting an opportunity to do that. So this is considered a quote unquote a requel, if that makes sense. But yeah, found footage has always been my first love. That's something that if anybody was to, if you were to ask anybody, what's Shreco's favorite film genre? Horror for one, yeah, but specifically found footage. I don't take that lightly. I take it to heart. I take it to the head. I take it everywhere. And I teach my actors and my actresses and my directors and producers the ins and outs of what it takes to make a found footage film, because it's different. It's very hard. It's very, very challenging. And if it's not done right, it's going to look like crap. And that's what a lot of actors and actresses have to really understand. When it comes to found footage, you have to be as authentic as possible. Yes, you're playing a character. Yes, you are becoming a character. But at the same time, you have to be as real and as normal and as basic as possible, because that is what's going to grab the audience 10 times more than an overacted character. You know what I'm saying? Like how you and I are talking right now. Yeah. That's pretty much what is supposed to go into a found footage film. And that's what makes them great actors and actresses, because it's not about being in I guess a traditional style film, if that makes sense. You know, it's totally different. We go through totally different things, totally different methods and everything else in between. I think that's why the subgenre is looked down upon in a sense, with a few directors and a few filmmakers and whatnot, because people think that type of filming is really not cinema, but it really is. I can't tell you that the type of traditional style filming you're doing is cinema. And if I do, I can say, oh, okay, well, I don't believe that's cinema right there, because you're not doing A, B, C, and D. So how can you tell me this isn't cinema as well too? It's all an experiment. Things are constantly growing. People are constantly doing new and more creative things and merging it within the cinema world, and it's working, you know? And people are tired of seeing the same thing over and over, or the same traditional style stuff. Let's do something different. Let's do some screen life films like Searching and things of that nature, you know, or Unfriended. You know, when they came out with those films, I didn't realize that was not considered found footage. It's called screen life cinema. And I was like, whoa. But it does go under the found footage umbrella. So it's so many different spider webs and things within the found footage subgenre. You got point of view, you got mockumentary, you got documentary, you have, what do they call it? A screen life, like we said before. It's so many things. But you have to be specific on what you're doing within that subgenre, because if you're not, sometimes you can cross merge, and that'll be a big mistake. But if you cross merge, sometimes it can be very rewarding if it's done right. And I am proud of myself and I can honestly say I know how to cross merge like hell, and I love it, because I can go from screen life to found footage to point of view and back and forth at the right moments. You know what I'm saying? But it works, and I love this genre, because you can be so creative. You can be as creative as you want to. You can be as absurd as you want to. You can be as gruesome or as obnoxious or whatever the case may be, because it gives you that opportunity to tell a story in your own way, as opposed to telling a story in a more traditional style setting, if that makes sense. So that's why I love it.
Awesome. Even though I'm familiar with your work and with the found footage subgenre, you just make me more excited for what else could be coming out of your repertoire, because that just sounds amazing. That okay, he knows exactly what he's doing. He says he's seasoned, and I just can't wait to see what else is coming out from you.
Awesome. I can't wait to show you.
And as far as you talk so passionately about found footage, and so like what was like the first you mentioned Blair Witch Project. Were there any other first time found footage experiences you had in media or anything of that nature?
Yes. When the first Paranormal Activity came out when I was a sophomore in high school, that was crazy. I remember my aunt Sonia taking me to see that on Halloween. No, it wasn't Halloween night. It was during the Halloween season. But I was getting out of high school, and she was like, "Hey, we're going to the movies tonight." I was like, "Oh, what we're going to see?" She was like, "You know that Paranormal Activity movie we were talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. You know, it looks interesting and it's new." I'm like, it looks like something like the Blair Witch Project. But at that time, you know, I wasn't fixated on found footage and this and that and the third. I knew about it, and I knew I loved that top style of filming, but it wasn't something that I was so gung-ho about. But when I saw Paranormal Activity for the very first time in a crowded theater,
right,
I think that is what clicked in my head, and it said, that is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. That is what you can do, and that is what you're going to do. And I said to myself, I cannot wait. And ever since then, I was a huge found footage freak, looking up so many found footage films. When Quarantine came out, I want to say that the year after, My Aunt Sonia took me to see that on Halloween night. Matter of fact, we saw it twice. We saw it on Halloween night, and then we went to go see it again the following weekend. I was in love with it. It scared the living crap out of me. Like, it was just, I said, I have to honor this film in some type of way in the future. And I did with the Ominous Project. And I was very, very proud of myself with that. But yeah, Quarantine, the Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity, and then it got better and better and better as the years progressed. Then we got The Taking of Deborah Logan, and everything else in between. And it was just like, holy crap. You know, for a person like myself, seeing these things and living in that time period and living in that era when found footage was the hype, it was the thing. And we saw so many great directors pushing content out like clockwork. It was just like, this is amazing. This is what I really want to do. And studying certain films and filmmakers and stuff, like, I knew from, it all started with, it might have started with the Blair Witch Project as a kid, but it really started, what started my career and what started the seriousness with everything was after seeing Paranormal Activity. And I will always give them their flowers, no matter what people say about it, no matter what people think about it. It was a huge phenomenon. And that is what I know this next film can be. I know it can be a phenomenon like Paranormal Activity was, because no one's seen anything like Paranormal Activity. And no one's seen anything like what we're doing with Maniacal Night Reborn. So it's almost like a full circle moment. And that full circle moment is almost complete because I can feel it. And no one knows this, but Paranormal Activity premiered at Screamfest, if I'm not mistaken? And I think that's the name of the festival. Screamfest, don't quote me on it, but Screamfest is I want to say, it is the Sundance of horror.
Okay.
If you can get into that festival, you are top notch. It is literally the Sundance of horror festivals. And Paranormal Activity premiered there. And no one's ever seen anything like it. And it got picked up.
Right.
It got picked up for a limited theatrical release. And then people were demanding it in their states, everywhere, around the US and then around the world. Yeah, you remember that. Demand it in your city. And I remember you and I were talking about it. We're like, we got to find it. We were on the computer doing it and everything. And finally it came to Columbus and we were like, holy crap.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it took off from there. And I know for a fact, this film can do that, if not that and better, because no one has seen it before. And my job with this found footage subgenre is making it fun again, making it entertaining again, making it scary again, putting it at the forefront again, because it's oversaturated. Because we have BS content coming out from BS filmmakers who are just doing this because it's cheap. It's not cheap. This stuff is expensive. It is so expensive. It is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But these filmmakers, they think that they can just pick up a damn camera and just do something. Don't even have a script for one. Hey guys, just talk, just do this, just do that, and then this person's gonna pop out. What? You got the typical BS. Oh, we're around a campfire. Oh, we're in the woods. Oh, we're this and that and third. Oh my God, give me a freaking break. Seriously, do something different. You know what I'm saying? You're making it harder for people like myself who truly love the genre, who truly appreciate it and honor it and respect it and really love it and do this for a living. You're making it 10 times harder for us to become at the forefront, to become mainstream, to become that next Paranormal Activity phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? And I don't stop. I don't care how oversaturated it is. I know some festivals look and they're like, here we go again, found footage film, oh my God. And then when they watch it, like, oh crap. Yeah, select this. This is different. This is cool. You know what I'm saying? And I those people who do crap like that piss me off so bad, because now I have to work 50 times harder to make this subgenre relevant again and make my work relevant. You know, but it's worth it. It really is. And these 8 years have been awesome. But yeah, Paranormal Activity, I promise you, mark my words, I'm going to have a Paranormal Activity phenomenon. I promise you I will. I promise.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I have no problem with that. Since you have been bringing up Maniacal Night, let's get into that a little bit more for you. Before I do want to know, you were talking about how found footage has been your favorite subgenre. And so are there any like favorite directors, actresses, actors in the horror genre that may have influenced you in some kind or that you look up to?
Yes, but not technically not within the found footage subgenre.
Okay.
The director that I truly look up to, who's always been my favorite and who has always been the biggest inspiration for me, is Wes Craven. And I've been a huge Wes Craven fan since I was a kid, when I first saw A Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Last House on the Left, and The Hills Have Eyes, and things of that nature, and especially the Scream franchise. You know, I'm a huge Scream fan. But I look up to him in so many ways, directing wise, and I boohoo cried when he passed away. I'm talking about, I bawled so bad. So every film that I try to do, I try to honor him in some way, or pay respects to him in some shape or form, whether it's within my writing, or whether it's within some ad lib that happens, or something that's going on set, or with a specific character or villain or something. You know, he's a phenomenal director, and I bring what he has built and the things that he has done with his films, I bring it into the found footage subgenre. So he is my all-time favorite director, and I hope and pray that a lot of people truly see that when they see these films and whatnot. And honorable mention could be definitely, I can say this, John Carpenter from
Okay.
Halloween. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he does not play around when it comes to slashers, and when it comes to horror, and when it comes to especially the storytelling. He's definitely an honorable mention underneath Wes Craven, and I love both of them so much. Within Maniacal Night, there's some references to Wes Craven films and John Carpenter's Halloween 1978 as well too. So
Love it, love it. And so, with Maniacal Night Reborn being your requel, essentially, are what elements or anything that you've probably in real life or in your day-to-day life or work or anything, what elements or experiences inspire the requel for Maniacal Night Reborn?
well, to be honest with you, and I can say this before, you're probably this is that first outlet where I'm actually saying this. So,
Okay.
you know, you get the exclusiveness with this, because there is an episode coming out. It's a short featurette series that we're doing this month, in the month of October, that is pretty much just talking about what it took to get Maniacal Night Reborn up and running, all the way up until we start production November the 8th through the 12th of this year. And the last episode is what I'm actually going to talk to you about. So yes, what inspired Maniacal Night Reborn was my actual experience in 2017. I had my first, and hope to God and pray to God, my last near home invasion experience when I was living in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it traumatized me for 6 years straight. And I dealt with that by myself. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell my friends. I didn't tell anybody. That is something that I thought I was going to take to the grave. The only person that knew about it, other than myself, was, you know, my ex, who was with me during that time when we experienced it together. So speaking out on this for the first time, it is scary, therapeutic for one, and peaceful for three. So I wanted to find a way to really purge that experience forever. And what better way to do that than to turn that into some form of entertainment, and use my creative juices and my creative side, and bring that to the forefront, make my experience the setting for the next film. And it was a terrible experience. I was actually, it was probably about maybe 4:50, 5 o'clock in the morning. He worked within the news area, and make a long story short, we were going downstairs like always and saying our goodbyes and things of that nature. And as he turned the knob on the door, the knob was turning with him, but in a more aggressive and very violent manner. And we're both looking like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, the back patio area, we had a slide door. And you know, slide doors, they can easily be unhooked, and there you are. There were people back there trying to jiggle the door. You could hear them rustling around and everything. And it was probably one of the most terrifying experiences, besides my car accident that I was in last year, where I almost died. And that was terrifying as well. But this still takes the cake as number one in my most horrific experiences. And I instantly went in fight or flight mode. And I said, it's either us or them. And we had an iron bat by the front door. And I grabbed that iron bat and I was ready. And he was just shaking. I was like, just be quiet. It's okay. And I guess when I opened my mouth and I said, all right, keep fucking playing, everything stopped. You could hear the people running from the back. And you can kind of see, it was scary as hell. You can see the doorknob like kind of twitch and then stop. And you could hear the person walking away. And when we look through the peephole, it's still dark outside, so we can't really see anything. I think that experience traumatized me so much and had so many lasting effects on myself, to the point where some of my friends don't even know this. When they're around me, I check my windows a lot. I keep lights on sometimes a lot, especially at night. I'm always double checking doors, double checking windows, and it's not as bad as it used to be, but I used to do that a lot. And I struggled with that for 6 years, and I never told anyone. I had to stop going to therapy because I felt like the therapist wasn't truly understanding where I was coming from and wasn't trying to understand. I felt like she was there just to get a check. I felt like she was there to say, all right, well, we'll finish this session tomorrow to see what more you have. What do you mean what more I have? Lady, this could have easily went left. And then come to find out, when I got to work that day, my ex had called me and he was like, I have to tell you something. I said, what's going on? He said, there are multiple reports of break-ins in our neighborhood and in the neighborhood 2 minutes down from us. And I just broke down crying, because that could have easily been our lives. That could have easily been something so much worse. And thinking about it now, being able to really talk about it, because I've never talked about this to anybody. I think the first thing that I talked to about this was my script. That was the first thing I spoke with. And I said, I can do this. I can purge this. I can have a real life experience in here, and I can have this moment pass me forever. I can literally purge this. I got this. And even though it'll be a bit traumatizing to revisit some of those things on set, certain settings, certain emotions, certain feelings, I know I got this, and I know it will be worth it. But that is the main thing, that 2017 experience that I had with that near home invasion experience. And I don't wish that upon anybody, not one single soul, because it does something to your mind. It does something to your emotions, and it does something to your outlook on a lot of things when you are by yourself. And I had to learn, like, Shreco, even though that happened to you, even though that was an experience, you don't have to live in that shadow. You're fine. Those are just some crazy ass nuts, or teenagers or whatever. And come to find out, they were teenagers. And so that's why the antagonists in the film are 2 teenagers. And good Lord, I just got goosebumps. I'm sorry. Oh my God. But yeah, it was a hard thing to battle with, trying to decide if I want to bring that story to the forefront. And I said, you know what, I am. And also, just as a little tidbit, we are taking some inspirations from the 1981 Ketty Cabin murders as well too. So it's but like 2 things meshed in one, along with my originality and creativity, and we have Maniacal Night Reborn.
Awesome. And I just want to thank you for being a little vulnerable with me and my audience, because I know a lot of people don't do that. And I do appreciate you for having that moment, because I know it can be very hard to express that. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Like I said, like with because you were, it's just so ironic, because you were speaking of Goosebumps. I know you're a big Goosebumps fan, and I know they just released a new series. Is there any chance that we can get something from Shreco in that style, or paying homage to R.L. Stine?
Yes. And I can't go into too much detail, but yes, we are already working on it now. We're working on a mini-series, and I guess you will be the first outlet to release this information. But yes, we're working on a mini-series, a 8-part mini-series called Shivers. And Shivers is a Goosebumps-esque style, not an anthology, but elements and characters and atmosphere and things of that nature in certain books that he's written that I gained inspiration from for each episode as well too. So if you have seen the new Goosebumps series that came out on Disney Plus and Hulu, that's pretty much the style that we're going for, but in found footage. And I'm currently working on a pilot right now. We've already fully cast for it. We've actually cast our last cast member last week. So we've been casting from August until recently, and I'm working on the pilot, getting that going, and hopefully we'll be able to shoot the pilot sometime in December or the beginning of the year. So yeah.
Well, yes, it's really good to hear about the Goosebumps thing, because I know that stems all the way back to us being 90s kids,
Yes.
books in the library or coming home after school and seeing it on TV. And so that's very exciting to hear that you want to pay that towards R.L. Stine, because that's
He's
just
one of my favorite authors as well, besides Stephen King. Stephen King and R.L. Stine are my two favorite authors of all time. I love them so much.
you can't do nothing but love those guys.
Absolutely.
And so with the because I'm presuming when you made Maniacal Night 1, there wasn't the idea of Reborn essentially at that time. So was there anything that may have triggered the idea of doing Maniacal Night Reborn? Was there any particular stew or sauce that may have got that in that direction?
Yeah, a major sauce. Absolutely. I would say a major taste tester that tasted my sauce, if that makes sense. There were no plans to continue with Maniacal Night. It was just going to be that film, and I was going to wait on God to tell me what to do next. And I knew I was going to be doing another feature film, because Maniacal Night 1 was my first feature film, and we got a lot of great response from the film. We were nominated for, I want to say, about 56, 57 awards internationally, and we have won a total of 46 or 40. Well, we just won our 47th award recently. We got honorable mention. So yeah, so 57, 58 nominations and 47 wins. So that I was really surprised with that, and I was really, really happy with that as well too. And we had a world premiere. We had a theatrical world premiere in Macon, Georgia, and we had a sold out screening, and it was great. It was nice. It was beautiful, and the reviews were amazing. And I got my first big accredited critic review from Rotted Reviews, and he is the biggest professional found footage filmmaker fan that you can ever come across. The man knows his stuff. I even looked at his 9 Laws of Found Footage Filmmaking, which helped me with Maniacal Night 1. And we reached out to him. We knew it would be a long shot, and we knew it would probably be very harsh as well too. But God told me to go for it, and I did. He agreed, he reviewed the film, and he gave 50% pros, 50% cons. And I was really happy with that. The pros were great. The cons, he ripped my ass a new one, 100%. And I was glad that he did. I didn't take offense to it. I didn't cry about it. I didn't say, he doesn't know what he's talking. No, the man knows what the hell he's talking about. I'd rather someone be honest with me who knows the craft, who knows the genre, who knows the ins and outs, who knows things that I don't know that can teach me to be better, rather than having so many yes men to say, Shreco, it was great. It was great. It was great. It was great. I know it was great, but then I also know there were some things in there that were not so great that I need feedback on. And he did. He gave me that. And to make a long story short, at the very end of the review, he looked directly to me. He said, I want to speak directly to Shreco. And he said, man, I want you to keep going. Don't you stop doing anything that you're doing. And please don't take anything I said to heart, because I'm only here to help. And he said, you have so much potential. He said, you probably have the best potential that I've seen in a very long time when it comes to the subgenre. And he says, keep going, because you have something. You have something bigger than you even imagined. He said, and I cannot wait to see what you do next after this. And I cried tears of happiness, because I was like, I smiled so hard, and I was like, wow, man, this guy really cares. And to be an African-American filmmaker in this subgenre, that's unheard of. And I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, you don't see people like you and me in found footage subgenres. We don't, and to have someone say that about an African American filmmaker who they know has great potential, that means a lot. And a lot of people would take that as, I guess, like a sour taste in your mouth, but I don't. I took that as a gem that I finally got. It's like when you're playing Sonic and Dr. Eggman, has, chaos, right? And you got to get the chaos emeralds and stuff, and you got to beat chaos and everything to gain those emeralds and stuff. And I felt like I finally got that chaos emerald that I've been looking for years. And I absorbed that thing so hard. Let me tell you something. We were already in the process of making Maniacal Night Part 2 because it came to us. God said, you can go ahead and do it. And we started going after it. I wrote probably half of the script. And after seeing that review, I scrapped it. I scrapped the entire script and I restarted. And I said, this is going to be a reboot because I know we can do better. I know we can fix those things that he said. Now, everything he said, I'm not going to sit here and say I agreed with, because certain things that he said, I took it as he probably didn't understand where we were going with it or where I was going with it creatively. And that's okay. I still value his opinion, but I'm still going to keep my sauce. I'm still going to keep my juice. And I'm taking what you say with a grain of salt, but I am still honoring the bigger picture, if that makes sense. But little nitpicks here and there, that's why I tell people you have to be careful, because don't alter and change your factor because someone else doesn't understand it. I'm not going to say he didn't like it. He probably just didn't understand it, and that's okay. But I'm not changing it. But everything else, oh, you bet your ass I'm changing. Everything. I wrote so many notes down, what scenes he was talking about, why the villains, why he didn't like the villains and this and that, and why he didn't. I wrote that down, and I said, he's right. Let me go ahead and jot this down. And I rewrote the entire script and revamped everything in a week. And my production team was like, what in the hell? This is crazy. It was like, Shreco, we love your writing. But they said, this don't even seem like you. Like, what the heck? And I needed that fire from him. I needed that fire to be put not under me. I didn't need that fire to be put under me. I needed that fire to be put inside, adding more coal to it, adding more lighter fluid. You know what I'm saying? And he closed that door and said, go ahead. Because the difference between having fire in you and having fire under you. You got fire under your ass, that means you're not doing what you need to do. You got fire in you, that's just igniting it more and more for you to be better. And I appreciated all of the cons that he gave us, because it changed the outlook on the film, the characters, the story. I mean, everything is just completely different and it's new. And that is why this is considered a requel, because yes, we're still honoring and going off of certain things within the story from the last film, but we're still making something new. The characters are new. Even the villains are new. We had a man and a woman. This time we have two female villains. They were adults. This time they are teenagers. You know what I'm saying? And this one, the last one, centered around a boyfriend and girlfriend couple going to an Airbnb. This one is centered around a family of 4 celebrating New Year's together. So as you can see the growth there and the elevation with a lot of things, and it makes it a lot more interesting, if that makes sense, and like a true found footage film. So I paid attention to what he told me, and he's the reason why Maniacal Night Reborn is what it is now, and what people are going to see, and why my paranormal activity phenomenon will happen. So all things go out to Mike from Rotted Reviews, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
And like I said, I know with how strong your faith is and your trust in God is, like, everything has a reason for happening, and everything has a reason for someone being presented to you, or what have you, what words are presented to you. So it's great to know this element, or this inspired Maniacal Night Reborn, because it just, I'm just so excited to see it completed. That's all, really.
Absolutely.
But like I said, Maniacal Night is already on a pedestal in my book. Just from the conversations I had with being able to read some of the script, I already have it up here for me. I'm just waiting for it to be, sealed, final cut, sent out to the masses.
Yeah.
And because I know you say you had to do some rewrites and you had to do some revamps for Maniacal Night Reborn. Was there a working title? Was there anything it was going to be called before Maniacal Night?
You talking about the very first film, or you talking about the reborn?
Just, I guess now, since it's considered, I mean, not necessarily a series, but either 1 and 2, that the word Maniacal Night, like, did you have a placeholder? Was it going to be finally called Maniacal Night?
Actually, we went through a lot of name changes. I mean, I still have a list of it in my phone. Me and my producer, Ashley Chanel, I mean, it took us maybe 3-4 days. We were just going through things. She was sending me stuff, and I'm like, no, that doesn't fit. No, that doesn't fit. And finally, you know what? I'm gonna keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up one morning, I had to use the bathroom. I sat on the toilet, and I was on my phone, and I said, you do some research. Yes, a lot of great ideas come from when you sit on that goddamn porcelain throne. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sitting there and I'm going through it. And I said, what word? I know I want to have night in there somewhere, but something that needs to pop. Something that when people look at it, like, whoa, what the hell? What is that? I want to know more about that. Something, a word that has to pop, but also make you feel some type of eerie, ominous type feeling when you see it on a poster. And I went through so many names, and then maniacal came up. And I saw what the definition of maniacal was, and I said, that's it. That's it. This is it. And that is how we got the name for the film and everything else in between.
Right. And that's excellent. And the only reason I asked that, because I'm gonna skip around a little bit here, but you are you're infamous for having these very heightened adjectives in your project titles and your movie titles. So is there any reason for that? Just because I can go back always to trepidation and ominous, like you just use ominous there, and now maniacal. Is there a contributing reason why you like to use these heightened adjectives? I guess based off what you said, it catches the eye, it catches the attention.
I don't want to be basic.
Mm-hmm.
If you use too many basic adjectives or words and things of that nature, like, it's not going to hit as well. It's not going to be as memorable, if that makes sense. And if you can catch someone's eye with a specific word and how it's placed and what color it is and everything in between, you got it. That's why I always use a lot of heightened words, because I want people to think, well, what does maniacal mean? Or what does a lot of people don't know how to pronounce these words.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a teaching tool as well too. All right, sound it out. Here we go. You've never seen this word before.
Okay.
Maniacal. Yes, my teaching skills are coming in. Yep, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I want the films that I do to have these type of heightened words and words that people really don't see on a normal basis, because I could have called this what was that name of that film that I did in North Carolina? I could have called it Night of Fright or This and That the Third, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's so middle school. Like, what? Come on now. Like, no, we need a word. We need a word or words that's going to stick, and it's going to be appealing, and that's going to make people think. What does that mean? Look it up. Oh, snap. That's what that means? Absolutely. Well, so this is what this film is going to be about. Not necessarily, but it's going to have that definition in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's important to make sure that the titles catch people's attention. So yeah.
Right. Awesome. And like I said, I love that about it, because like even with I've been following for so long. It's like I just started noticing that recently. I'm like, here we go again. But and as we go a little bit further, like with you going through the process, like you mentioned how you have 2 female teenage antagonists. So could you go a little bit more detail about the casting process and how that was for like filling the roles for the cast, the family, and the antagonist especially?
Yeah, so I'll start with the antagonist. The antagonist, it was a no-brainer. I already knew I was bringing Gray Jordan back. She did phenomenal in the first film. She was a standout performer in the first film. She's won and was nominated for so many awards for her role in the first film, and she stood out the most. And I said it was a no-brainer. She was the first person I contacted about the sequel, and she was like, absolutely, like, yes. So she was the first person that I knew I was bringing back 100%. And then as time progressed, I met Mackenzie Gunter in Atlanta, Georgia. She was auditioning for a role or whatever, and the role that she was auditioning for, the lead, we had already cast. And I said, you know what, Mackenzie? I said, have you ever wanted to play a villain? And she just lit up like a Christmas tree. She was like, oh my God. Mind you, she's 16 years old.
Mm-hmm,
She's like, oh my God, yes. She's like, you don't understand how long I've been wanting to do this. I do little things by myself and this and that. She's like, but I've never had an opportunity to be a psychotic, deranged, and insane villain. And I just knew right then and there she was perfect. And when she read for some of the dialogue, I was like, oh my God, her and Gray together, oof, I'm even nervous to be on set with these women. I'm not kidding. I haven't even seen their performances yet. The cast hasn't seen their performances. We're all going to see this together for the first time when we're on set.
Amazing.
So I'm terrified. I really am. Because I saw their audition, but it's going to be so different than their audition. Because they're so amazing. They're so creative. And yeah, I already knew that for a fact. I said, I'm bringing Gray Jordan back. She's going to reprise her role, but she's going to be a teenager instead of an adult. And Mackenzie, she's already a teenager, so she's going to fit right in. And this is going to be amazing. Like, I knew I had to do something different. And we decided to make these both women slashers. We've never seen two female slashers donning the mask and the costume and the weapons. And there's more than one weapon that they're going to be using. Just to throw that out there, it's more than one. Some people have that one iconic thing, right? Michael Myers has a knife. Jason has a machete. Leatherface has a chainsaw. Things of that nature. But these women, these teenagers, they are ruthless. It's more than just one thing. They want to experiment in different ways on, I want to see what makes them scream more. I want to see what makes this blood come out a little bit better. And, they're crazy. And I'm super excited that I get to work with both of these women. And, by the grace of God, if we do get to do a sequel to this and this does really well, it's a no-brainer. They're coming back. I'm not adding any more antagonists to this. People like to add on and, add a third person to make it interesting. Or no, it's all about these women, 100%. So I can't wait for people to see this. Hell, I can't wait to see it.
Right.
But, I'm not banking on making a second one. I'm not banking on focusing on a sequel. I'm banking on myself and betting on myself with this film. And there are no plans for a sequel or anything at the current day and time. And, we'll see what this one does. And I'm just going to be really proud with what we do with this. I've learned to focus on one thing instead of trying to make a roadmap to everything. I want this baby to be amazing. And I want it to have that Paranormal Activity phenomenon. I'm going to keep saying that. Give these viewers, but these actors, their dream come true. So I love them so much. And I want them to have their dream come true. And that's why I'm working hard to make sure that I do the best of my ability to make it happen as best as I can for them. It's not just about me, it's about them. But speaking on the family of four, the casting with this was, it wasn't as bad as I'm used to, if that makes sense. We found our lead role, Naomi Couch of Macon, Georgia. She's 16. We found her in July. And then we found the supporting role of her brother, Hassan Goins of Atlanta, Georgia. He's in his early 20s. And then we actually found one of the dads in the beginning of August. And it was great. And we had a well-rounded cast and we did amazing. But unfortunately, the guy that played the dad, who was cast first, didn't work out too well. So we had to find another replacement. That replacement didn't work out too well. Had to find another replacement. That replacement worked out amazing, but his schedule just did not align with us to make us comfortable enough to bring him along for filming, if that makes sense. He did nothing wrong. He was absolutely amazing. He did everything right. And I wish we could have kept him so he could have had the moment, but he'll have another moment with us, most definitely, for sure. Yes, but then I met Jordan. I met Jordan White out of Marietta, and he is absolutely everything I could have hoped for and prayed for and more within this character. And just as a regular human being, I was just really blessed and really happy to meet a beautiful soul like him, because he's so authentic and he's so, I can't even really put it into words how amazing this guy is. Like, he's absolutely phenomenal all the way around. And what he brings to this character is beyond what I even wrote, beyond what I even constructed. And for him to play my husband in this film, I had to make sure that my chemistry coincided with his, and that, vice versa. And it was It was a shocker. It was a shocker how everything just naturally fit like this. And he got the part. And this is his acting debut. And when you see this, you're not even going to believe this is acting debut at all. With Naomi Couch, this is her acting debut. You're not going to believe it's her acting debut. You know, I was just really, really proud of how natural our energies meshed and how natural our personalities meshed, and just everything. It's really unexplainable. I think you probably only get to experience something like this with a human being, I guess once every 2,000 years or some stuff like that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's the best way to really put it. But you value things like that, and you value that specific person, and you value what they bring, not only to the table as an actor and as a performer, but just in general. I remember we were on a call one time, and Jordan looked at me and he said, "Shreco, I have a feeling that this is going to be more than just filming with us. I think this is going to be a lifelong thing between us." And I said, "I feel that too. I definitely feel that too." That energy is unexplainable. I can really tell you that 100%. So I was really blessed to have him. And then having Naomi and Hassan and myself, all of us together, it's just, I'm probably going to cry when I yell "that's a wrap," because I'm going to miss him so much. I don't think I've ever had this type of connection with an ensemble before. I don't think I've ever had this type of energy, this type of authenticity, this type of love that we all share amongst one another. And these guys are great, and our performances are going to blow you away. My goal is to make this as emotional as possible, and we have to dig into some deep places to bring those out. And I think that when audiences see this, they're going to cry or be on the brink of tears. Majority of Act 2 going to the end of the film in Act 3. So, yeah.
And then you mentioning that the ensemble, a lot of them is their first time, especially even the fact that it's their first time in horror or first time in that genre as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So would you prefer, I may not want to use the word prefer, but does that matter in a way that it's their first time in horror? Because I know some directors are particular about the point, because I know if you experienced in the past with cast with the know-it-alls and the I know what I'm doing. So as a casting director and the director, is it could you say that could be a catalyst to why this works so well?
I can tell you with me personally, I could give how many lead roles you had. I can care what that resume, how long it is. I can care what big top tier film you worked on with big top tier supporting actor you worked on. I don't care. What I care about is you as a human being. How are you as a human? Are you respectful? Are you loyal? Are you kind? Are you loving? Are you attentive? Are you responsible, reliable, dependable? Because all that other extra crap, I can care less, because I promise you, I will take a person off the street who has never acted a day in their damn life and turn them into a multi-award-winning actor or actress. And I've done that since 2015. And you've seen it. I've taken the worst actor and turned them into the best actor. I've taken an actor who's never done anything a day in their life and put them as a lead, and people are scratching their head like you're crazy. And then when it's time for it to premiere, they're like, "Oh my God." Because this is why we have interviews before we audition anybody. You got to go through an interview phase with me before you even get a chance to have an audition, because I need to see where your mind is. I need to see where your energy is. I need to see where your attitude is. I need to see where your emotions are. I need to see what your goals are. Where's your end game? What are you doing? Why are you doing? I need to see what your answers are going to be to the questions that I ask you. And if they don't align with who I am, with what my company stands for, with what my team stands for, you're not going to get a chance to audition. And I can give a crap if you've won an Oscar. Well, you take that Oscar and you go find somebody else who's going to allow you to be who you are within their company, because I have to work with you in front of and behind the camera, on camera and off camera. And the most important thing is working with you off camera. Am I going to be stressed out? Am I going to be traumatized by your behavior? Am I going to have negative effects from the energy that you bring? And people all say, oh, well, it's just about the job. No, it's more than just about the job. You've got to be careful. You got to be very careful. That's why I'm very picky. That's why I don't put out a lot of casting calls. I go search for people myself. I extend opportunity myself. I'm recently starting to go ahead and experience casting calls again because I'm ready for that now. And it's been amazing. And I'm glad I put out a casting call for Maniacal Night Reborn because I would have never met Jordan. And I know I keep talking about him, but you guys just don't understand. Like, he is a true blessing. He's just the best thing in the world, man. And I knew I was ready for that. So if I didn't put out that casting call, dude, like, none of this would be happening right now.
Right.
And he's never acted a day in his life when it comes to big films or being in a main supporting role or a main ensemble, if that makes sense. And you would have never known. Right. The way I worked with him, you would not know. Same with Naomi, you would not know. And the reason I chose these people that I chose is because of their heart. Because of their heart, because of their heart, and because of their heart. And their potential. I'd rather work with somebody. Because you are not Angela. Okay, you are not Miss Angela Bassett. You're not Miss Davis. You're not Viola Davis. Okay, you are an independent actor doing the exact same thing we are doing. Act like it, be humble, ground yourself, and move forward so we all can get to the same place. And these individuals, they deserve the world. If I could give them the world, and if I can give them all the money in the world and give them all the opportunity in the world, I would, without a doubt. And just a heads up, every last person that's in Maniacal Night Reborn that's in the family ensemble is the cast of Shivers.
Oh my God, yay.
Yes.
Awesome. Yes.
And we have Mackenzie Gunter, who is the villain in Maniacal Night. She is making her debut as lead. So she's leading the cast in Shivers. So you'll see all of us again, not in a family form, but in a friendship form. So it's going to be really nice. This is why I say you have to have a great mind and a great heart, and you have to want to do this for the right reasons. Not for money, not for fame, not for anything else, but just to grow and to experience and to put yourself on that road that's going to lead you to better, if that makes sense. And that's all I want to do. I want to give them that push in the right direction, or give them that experience, so when they do have their next opportunity, they're ready. So yeah.
I'm so excited. Like, I've had the pleasure of meeting some of the cast members, and yeah, I agree with you. That vibe and that energy correlates so well, and I'm excited to, like, again, the more we go through this interview, the more and more I'm getting excited. Like, hurry up and come out already. So I'm just like turning my gears and like, oh my God, how is this gonna come out? I can't wait. But when it comes to when you brought up that you guys are going to start filming in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which ironically that you mentioned earlier happens to be where the true story element comes from. Was that intentional? This is complete off the cuff.
No.
Okay.
And it scared the hell out of me. We were planning to film this here in Macon, Georgia. And then Heidi Rao, who is our second director, I was telling her about the film and everything, and I was like, well, what if we brought production up there? She was like, I was just thinking the same thing. Y'all come film this up here in Chattanooga with me. You can use my house and everything else, and we're good, we're set. And I didn't think about it until you just said it. I'm filming exactly where I had that traumatic experience 6 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, because it even
didn't
goes back
click
to the
until
full
just
circle
then.
thing. The whole literally, yeah.
Wow. Wow. No, that was not intentional, Down. Hell, I'm shocked right now. I'm like, damn.
Because the one key word that I've been noticing throughout this interview is you are using that word, like the full circle, like from slasher to slasher and the full circle element. So it just seems like everything is aligning the way it should be. And so that's just something I noticed off the cuff, was that Chattanooga, Tennessee, like it just seems to be laying the way it should be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
But as far as being in Chattanooga, I've been there before. It's really beautiful. The mountainous, the small town feel with the big town feel, but like in the middle of nowhere, but still has a hustle bustle environment.
Right.
Would you say there's anything that you're thinking is going to be the hardest part to film, or do you have a favorite part that you want to film? No, of course, no spoilers as much as possible.
Yes, I'm looking forward to filming the ending. Absolutely.
Okay.
The ending is, let's just say, I hope people are ready to see. You know what? I'm not even going to go into it.
I know.
You're going to talk about this for a very long time after you see the ending. That's all I have to say. So I'm looking forward to filming the ending. I know the ending is probably going to be the most challenging due to all of the elements that are in there, and these camera angles and choreography and timing, and but it's going to be worth it.
Right.
I'm looking forward to filming this ending so much, and that is definitely going to be the biggest challenge. That's why that is on the last day.
The favorite part and the hard part are the same elements. Okay.
Absolutely.
I know. And like I'm still mad at you, by the way.
Oh my God, here we go. I think audiences are going to be mad too, but good. That's a good thing. They're going to be so pissed. Pissed in an emotional way, in an emotional, in a way that's like, what?
Right.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yep. That was me. I live with two other people, and you can just imagine that moment when I didn't care. I didn't care who heard me. I was mad. I was annoyed. But that's neither here nor there. We can continue on. No, like I said, no spoilers. Nothing here. But I've known you for forever. I feel like we're going on like 17 years of knowing each other.
17 years just passed this August. August the 6th was 17 years.
It's insane, right? But there's one thing that I know, that watching you grow over your career over time, like I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Shreco Bakari has these signatures that he always incorporate in his films. Am I okay for saying so?
I would say I probably do it subconsciously. I think there's certain things that you see or catch, it's not intentional. It just happens.
Okay.
Because it's me,
There's two things that come to mind for me. Even going back to Omnis Project 1 OP1, you are known to have these very echoey extended scream sections, right? And they are so curdling. I still think about OP1 where you're under the table and you're calling out to your co-star, and I still hear that to this day, right?
Yes,
if you guys have not heard about Omnis Project 1, I'm sure there's somewhere on his Facebook page or his Instagram where that is somewhere. But I still think about those screams, and then your use of blood. Moments, especially even like with Maniacal Night 1, the camera is on the lower level of the presenting as a body laying on the ground, and the blood spattering up onto our antagonist.
The chainsaw,
And even like OP2 or Omnis Project 2, where one of the members is spitting up blood and is going through it. So I feel like I said, you don't necessarily write this down, but those are some of the things that I observe as like the Shreco Bakari signatures.
Just know that this film is probably going to. It's probably going to be the bloodiest film that I've ever done. And that doesn't necessarily mean gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons of blood like Evil Dead Rise. We're not doing all that. But when I say bloodiest film that I've ever done, I'm talking about how it's used, when it's used, where it's used, how much you see. It's in your face right there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is probably going to be the goriest and bloodiest film we've we've done to date, and all thanks to Athena Street of Athena SFX out of Florida. This 15-year-old special effects artist who is absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait for her to bring this stuff to life. She's going to be great, and I'm really excited. But yeah, the screens definitely. Yeah. I don't play about screens.
Right.
You know, I don't play about screens. I don't play about screens, and I don't play about screens. You have to have the perfect screen to work with me, and if you don't, I'm going to teach you. You have to get it.
Yeah, I do want to give you your own crown for you, because you are a scream king in my book. So.
Thank you.
Just saying.
Look, that's the goal, right? That is the goal.
Right.
That is the goal. I look up to Justin Long a lot with a lot of films that he's done, from Jeepers Creepers all the way down to Goosebumps recently, and he's one of my biggest Scream King inspirations. So yeah, definitely, Scream King all the way.
Cool.
Right here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And
Black Scream King. We've never seen a Black Scream King.
Yes.
I'm going to be the first. There we go.
Yeah. And one thing I know you and I both have in common, but even when it comes to you producing and creating magic on camera, is I know you're a big fan of soundtracks and scores. You're a big fanatic in that world. Can you tell me where the vibe is going for Maniacal Night Reborn? Are you still using Teddy Martin? Are we still going to get to see David again in this film?
Yeah, so with this film, we are bringing back Teddy Martin to produce the soundtrack for Maniacal Night Reborn. It's going to be a totally different feel, a totally different vibe than the first film. The first soundtrack for the film is out now on all music platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, all of that. And the soundtrack is amazing. That was my first producer credit for music ever. And I was so proud of myself with that. And he did a great job. And I can't wait for people to hear the sound in this one. It's very different, and it's very unique, and it fits very, very well. David Thessalien is returning this time in a different way as well. He has a techno pop, I don't want to say pop, techno Tomorrowland vibe going on for a scene that we cannot get into, but yeah, it's going to be crazy. And of course, he's going to have his moment at the very end of the rolling credits with his score for the film as well too. So
awesome! I'm excited. I remember, and I'm mad I'm not thinking about it now, but I remember after I finished watching Maniacal Night 1, and there was a song from Teddy that you guys kept singing, the main characters kept singing over and over again about love, and I remember it was stuck in my head for days and days.
Yes.
And now it's in my Spotify rotation at this point. It comes up every now and then, but it was just like, can you tell me how catchier Teddy can get? Because he's so catchy, and I love it.
I'm telling you, that's everyone loves that song. And we are bringing that song back for this film.
Great.
It's gonna be like a little cameo, but it's gonna be in there, most definitely. So
especially in Maniacal Night, you just being annoying to your co-star
and drunk. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Most definitely.
And so going back to you saying with, Maniacal Night having all those nominations and having those awards, what festivals that you're wanting to submit Reborn for? Is there anything you already have in mind at this time where you like, I want to submit Reborn to X, Y, and Z?
Yes. I'm nervous as hell, but if this is done right, I know we can be a great contender. Slam Dance, Sundance, Scream Fest, Toronto, hell, even Tribeca, a lot of big top tier festivals. I know that if we do this right, if we really do this right, and we really follow the plan that we have, we follow what God is telling us, there's no doubt in my mind that this cannot get there. It's different. Yes. It's found footage. Yes. It's horror. Yes. How the hell can that make it into those top festivals? Just trust me. I know. I get it. It's unheard of. We've never seen it, but you're going to see it with me.
I love it.
Paranormal activity phenomenon. Watch what I tell you. I'm going to say that until the wheels fall off, and even after the wheels fall off while we build it, I'm going to keep saying it. I am going to shock myself so much next year. And I'm shocking myself now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to wait till next year. I'm doing it now. I'm in it now, right now, this very moment while I'm talking to you. You know, people always have to say, oh, yeah, it's going to happen. Then no, it's happening right now. And it's just going to ooze over into that.
Right.
So I have that strong feeling, but we got to make sure we do this right in order for that to happen. And I know we will. I know we will, because we have the perfect team, the perfect cast, the perfect production team. You know, I went through the perfect storm for this. I did. And I'm ready, and they're ready.
The perfect storm and the paranormal activity phenomenon. And when you said perfect storm, the joke I was trying to throw in there, I'm like, would you say it's a SuperCell?
Yes. Yes. I'll vote you.
But yeah, the last thing you were saying was about it being a perfect storm and that you believe everything is the way it's supposed to, and then my random cheesiness about SuperCell. But continue.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We're if we do this right, we're going to break down a lot of doors, and we're going to make a lot of mouths drop and shatter a lot of barriers and be history makers. We really are. We're going to be a lot of firsts.
I love that.
And I cannot even, that's the best way that's the best way I can describe it. We're going to be a lot of firsts with horror, because this is a drama horror film. So it's, that's all I can say. We're going to be a lot of firsts.
Right. And I'm
we're going to be
excited.
those inspirations for other people. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, even like with African Americans, directors, producers, ensembles, LG, you have the two dads, so LGBTQ is in there.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is kind of just perfect. Like I said, the perfect storm, and I'm going to stick with that. That may be my title or something. That's definitely
nice.
And I do appreciate you taking the time with me and everything.
Yes.
But there's one thing I gotta just.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a psychopath test.
Well, I already failed because I'm already crazy as hell. So.
I'm not sure. I know you're always busy, so you're probably not on social media and in Reddit and all that as much as you used to be. But if you have heard this, let me know. But I feel like you may have not heard this test, because it came down to my coworker asking me, and then I saw it on a few other podcasts. So I want to see what your answer could be. Okay?
Okay, cool. Okay.
So there are two daughters, and they are attending their mother's funeral. And after the wake and everyone's mingling, one of the sisters meets a guy. They hit it off. They're, getting along really well. She feels like he's like, her soulmate. But after everything was wrapping up, she didn't get his number. She didn't get his name or anything. And she had no idea who he was. So a few days go by. This girl commits murder. Why did she do it?
She commits murder a few days after she meets this guy.
Mm-hmm. At the funeral.
At the funeral, and she feels like this is her soulmate.
Oh, sorry, I'm missing an element. She murdered her sister. Sorry, she murdered her sister a few days after the mother's funeral.
So why did she murder her sister?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. This is some crazy crap. Wait. Okay. Is it because the sister was either A, involved with him, B, engaged to him, or C, maybe she had sex with him? I don't know. It sounds like that she might have had some type of involvement with him, and she wants to get rid of her ass so she can be with her quote unquote soulmate.
No, but I'm glad you got the answer wrong.
Okay.
If you would have got it right, I would have to question our whole relationship. But if anyone hasn't seen this, leave your answers in the comments. I'll give you a few seconds before I give the answer, but go ahead and give your answers in the comments, and then I will give you a few seconds to type. But I'm glad you got it wrong, because that just means you're not thinking like a psychopath, and that's okay.
Okay, good. Okay.
But the answer is because since she killed her sister, there is a chance that the guy she met at the mother's funeral is going to show up at this one, and she gets to see him again.
That is sick. But you want to know something? I love it.
Right.
I love it. I love it. I might be a little bit touched. Okay. Because it's crazy that I got excited over it. I'm like, yes, that's a perfect. And I'm like movie mind right now. So I'm like, yes, you can do this. Yes, most definitely. That's awesome. I'm sorry.
No worries. The only reason I wanted to put you to the test is because with you being the writer that you are, and I notice how you've grown with your writing, and sometimes I feel like I worry about you. Because I mean, no offense to our infamous directors, but you know, we do question our Wes Cravens, we do question our Tim Burtons, we do question their psyche sometimes. We do. I still question Steven sometimes, you know, just a little bit. So.
As you should. You should. If you didn't question us, we're not doing it right.
Right. All I know is I have a mental thought in my brain, like, never piss off this list of people. And, you know.
God dang.
Yeah. Like, is there anything you want to plug besides you say that you're doing your probably work? Anything coming up in the future, even outside of the movie world? Anything coming up in the future for you?
A lot of big major success. A lot of big, huge, supernatural, unspoken, unheard of, major success.
I love that.
So just keep watching me. That's all.
Cool.
That's it.
I couldn't say it better myself.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Shreco. It's a pleasure having you today.
Of course.
So tell my audience where they can find you, social media, movie pages, and all that.
So you can look me up on Instagram at filmmaker _Shreco Bakari. You can also follow our Maniacal Night film page on social media as well, specifically Instagram at Maniacal Night Movies. And you can follow the production page for Foreman Empire Productions, which will soon be changed to SuperCell come next year, at Foreman Empire Productions. You can also find Foreman Empire Productions on Facebook just by searching, and me on Facebook just by searching Shreco Bakari.
Awesome. And I also too want to, there is a Foreman Empire page on YouTube as well. So go check out that. Shreco does have a few featurettes that are coming out every week of the month of October, leading up to the filming in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So check out Foreman Empire Production on YouTube as well. And I'll link all those social media and things in the description. So always just go there and look for any of the ads and the Twitters and the X's and the Facebooks and Instagram metaverse. And so I'll put that all down in the description. Any famous last words?
Yeah. Mind the business that pays you and just keep doing you.
I love it.
Peace.
Awesome. So thanks, guys. This has been Ty June. Thanks for tuning in. You made it to the end. I'll see you next weekend.